Welcome to BNR. It's Asim Mahmood. It's on the road once again. We're on the road. I'm on the road once again. I'm alone today. I'm picking up Saj on the way to Manchester, the lazy bugger. But yeah, as you can see, I'm commemorating the World Cup champions with my gifted hat. Pretty nice. I like it really. Yeah, but let's put the World Cup to a side for once, even though it was a brilliant festival of football, and the Qatar should be applauded for providing brilliant quality football and drama over the last month or so. But let's park it to a side for now, and it's a refreshing, welcoming return to proper football, even though international football, especially what we saw last month, is brilliant and the quality of football was good. But generally speaking, the Champions League, the Premier League, in terms of quality, it's a lot better. Some may disagree, but that's another conversation for another day. But let's turn our attentions to the big game today. It's always a big game today between Manchester City and Liverpool. There's always a bit of needle creeping in for the last, 2-3 years. And although I don't really buy the hype that the sort of tensions have become toxic between City and Liverpool, it's always the case, isn't it? When two teams are going full throttle at each other, there is going to be needle between the teams, and especially where there's two managers in Jurgen Klopp and Guardiola, both serial winners. There are always going to be some sort of reports about there's extra tensions between the clubs. Ultimately, they are sort of competing for the same prizes, and when that's the case, the rivalry will be, hyped up and built up in the media, and like it is. And although there's been some emails and some sort of instructions sent, I think is like a mutual statement, isn't it? It wasn't there yesterday. But I think there's nothing like that. It's not toxic at all, and I think the media sort of are just overhyping it as usual. But let's turn to Liverpool and their team. We've got sort of, there goes my phone. I thought I'd invest into a new tripod, but it wasn't working today, so apologies for that glitch. If I need to park up, I might do for a couple of minutes. But Liverpool, plenty of talk on and off the pitch over the last month or so, hasn't there? In terms of the ownership issue, plenty of transfer targets. Enzo Fernandez, who else was there? Sofiane Amrabat, and Moises Caicedo from Brighton. We know a lot about him, but it's taken a little twist with Luis Diaz getting injured again. I don't think Liverpool saw that coming, did they? We thought we'd get away with an operation, but unlucky for Luis Diaz and for Liverpool, it looks like he had to go under the knife and get that operation done, which they wanted to avoid in the first place. We've wasted 2-3 months now, but it is what it is. We must deal with it, and it puts extra pressure on the front three, because Jota is not going to come back later in the new year, so he's out, and that leaves Núñez, Bobby and Salah. And there's a lot of games coming up thick and fast, whether it's the Carabao, FA Cup, or the Champions League as well, and the two ties against Real Madrid, which is sort of interesting to see what sort of formation Klopp goes with over the next 2-3 months, because we've seen some tinkering from him, whether it was forced upon him through our performances or injuries. But we saw plenty of different formations. We saw 4-3-3, a 4-4-2 diamond, and in terms of positions as well, we saw Núñez and Salah up front, even though Núñez at times was on the left. And so it'll be interesting to see Liverpool, watch which way Liverpool and Klopp go. And coming back to tonight, I think it'll be interesting to see if he uses all three, or all two of the three attackers, or all three. Will Bobby play in that diamond behind Salah and Núñez, or will we set up as a 4-3-3? And it'll be always an interesting matchup between Liverpool and City, and you always see some sort of tactical little change from Guardiola or Klopp, because the managers know each other so well, the teams and the players know each other so well, and sometimes that little change and subtle change in formation or position for a certain player, it's it makes all the difference between a win or a loss. And even though it's a Carabao Cup, it's a bit ironic that Liverpool are playing. I think someone's ringing me. We're still recording, so I'll carry on. It's a bit ironic Liverpool have matching up against City today, as we saw. The curtain raiser for the season was against City as well, and in the same way, even though this is not a friendly by any stretch, we're playing City again. And I think I'm glad that Liverpool are playing. Apologies for that. Liverpool are playing in the Carabao Cup, because for me, it'll be a brilliant win today if we come up with a performance that warrants a win, or any type of performance that warrants a win. And we had some great days at Wembley last year in the Carabao and the FA Cup, but for me the most important game is the Villa away, and that's not going to be an easy game with Unai Emery coming up and putting his mark on the team, because they're going to be hard to break down, and especially at Villa Park with that crowd, it's going to be a difficult fixture, because where we are at the moment, we're lying sixth and we have to play catch up straight away. So it'll be nice to win today, no doubt, and I want us to win, and a cup run is always nice to have. And like I said, the experience that we had over at Wembley last year, will go live in our memories for a long period of time. But for me, we just need to get a run now and really sort of provide ourselves a real chance of consolidating the fourth position that we must need. And if we're gonna sort of be linked with the likes of Fernandes and Bellingham and Caicedo and Amrabat and a few others in January or in the summer, we need to make sure we pin down that fourth position come at the end of the season. So yeah, it'll be, I think that's why I think like I said, it'll be both sides will be fairly strong, and I know it's dependent on the players that have been coming back, at what stage they've been coming back from the World Cup for both sides, but I think it'll be a fairly strong lineup for both City and Liverpool. Looking forward to it. Really good to be back on the road and going to a Liverpool game. Even though I enjoyed the World Cup, enjoyed the break, but there's nothing like being on the road for a Liverpool game, especially those sort of cold winter away days. There's nothing like it. Which sort of reminds me, just to remind you guys that we've got a staple show, the Red Zone. It'll be every Sunday at 9 p.m, where we don't really get a chance to break down and analyse each and every game. It's always just an emotional match reaction at times, but we decided to sort of really provide an opportunity for ourselves and a special guest every week to sort of break down and have an in-depth discussion about Liverpool on and off the pitch. We had David Lynch last week, and we'll have plenty of more guests for you, and we're trying to sort something out, and might have a surprise for you in a couple of weeks as well. So stay tuned for that. My prediction today, I think we're gonna go win 2-1. I never ever go against the Reds. I always back them to win, doesn't matter what the situation. And some might say Liverpool's sort of the World Cup came at a wrong time for Liverpool. I think I read we won 8 games in all competitions out of 10, so we were sort of gathering some momentum, we were picking up some form. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how everyone starts. But Liverpool, we need to start fast. But I back ourselves to get a win today, a 2-1 win in front of a massive allocated away end of 5,500 fans, which will be really good. So stay tuned for all the content coming your way today. I'll stop rambling on and see you on the other side for the 90, and hopefully in a lot better mood. Thank you very much for listening. Like on the way out, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you soon. Up the Reds and take care.